A virus capable of bringing the dead back to life has swept across the globe, and bloodthirsty zombies have replaced humans as the dominant force on Earth. The last remaining stronghold for survivors is located in the center of a city surrounded on three sides by water. But even in a world overrun by zombies, the class system still exists. The wealthy, led by Kaufman, live in a luxury skyscraper in the heart of the city, enjoying the same lavish lifestyle they had before the disaster. On the other hand, the poor, with no money or power, live in the slums outside the skyscraper, struggling to survive, often without enough food. There's also a special mercenary team that works to provide for the survivors. They frequently venture out into the dangerous world beyond the city walls to gather supplies. One day, the team leader, Riley, goes on an expedition and makes a shocking discovery. Zombies seem to have evolved intelligence. A gas station zombie is seen performing its old job and even communicating with its fellow zombies. Two of Riley's teammates are stunned by what they've witnessed, but Riley doesn't dwell on it for long. As darkness falls, he leads his team quickly to gather supplies, focused on their immediate mission. They chose to operate at night because they discovered a strange quirk about the zombies. As long as fireworks are constantly being set off, the zombies become entranced and stand motionless, completely ignoring any sounds from the outside. Taking advantage of this, the team wipes out the zombies and heads to the designated location to gather supplies. However, this time, they don't realize that the gas station zombie is not affected by the fireworks. Seeing its fellow zombies fall one after another, it stomps its feet in frustration and tries to wake them up, but all its efforts are in vain. The gas station zombie can only let out an angry roar. At that moment, the fireworks system malfunctions, and the zombies start to stir. For safety, the team is forced to cut their search short and retreat as quickly as possible. The modified bus is heavily armed and cuts a bloody path through the horde, but before they leave, Deputy Commander Cholo disregards Riley's order to retreat and, along with two teammates, heads to a liquor store. In this post-apocalyptic world, alcohol has become a rare commodity, valuable not only for trade, but also as a bribe to the wealthy. Just as Cholo opens the liquor cabinet, a zombie suddenly lunges at him. One of the teammates tries to step forward to help, but can't get a clear shot. Fortunately, Cholo is a seasoned veteran and quickly pulls out a crossbow, taking down the zombie with a well-aimed shot. However, when one of the teammates reaches down to pick up a drop cigar, a zombie hiding under the shelf grabs him and bites his arm. As the teammate walks out of the store, Cholo realizes he's been bitten. By this time, Riley has arrived. Without hesitation, he shoots and kills the zombie, then rushes to check on his teammate. Not wanting to turn into a zombie, the teammate makes the painful decision to end his own life, sacrificing himself to avoid becoming one of the undead. With the loss of another team member, the team wraps up their search mission for the night. During their retreat, a few of the reckless members take the opportunity to taunt the zombies. The gas station zombie doesn't let them get away with it, quickly snatching one of their guns. As the team leaves, the gas station zombie lets out an angry roar. It's now fully evolved into the leader of the horde, and with the zombies following closely behind, it's clear that it's coming after the humans. Although the team managed to gather plenty of supplies on this trip, Cholo's reckless actions cost them a teammate and almost got them all killed. Riley scolded him harshly, but Cholo didn't seem to care. His only goal was to escape the poverty of the slums and live like the wealthy, moving into the secure, elite tower at the heart of the safe zone. However, when he finally managed to get his hands on some rare wine and took it to Kaufman, the man responsible for building the safe zone, hoping to impress him, it didn't go as he expected. Kaufman barely acknowledged Cholo's efforts, and despite his hard work, he was told that his name wasn't on the list to move into the tower. Hearing this, Cholo was immediately filled with rage, but Kaufman didn't care and called in security to throw him out. The two men parted ways on bad terms. Wanting to make sure Cholo wouldn't be a problem in the future, Kaufman ordered the security guards to make sure Cholo didn't leave the building safely. But Cholo, being a seasoned survivor, quickly turned the tables and killed the guards. Meanwhile, Riley took Charlie to an entertainment venue where, in a twisted turn of events, even zombies were used as entertainment. They threw an unarmed girl into an octagonal cage to fight a zombie. Riley, being the compassionate person he is, couldn't stand the sight and immediately shot the zombie, causing chaos to erupt in the arena. Chihuahua, the manager of the venue, saw the commotion and aimed his gun at Charlie. However, in his panic, he accidentally shot an innocent bystander who was trying to flee. What Chihuahua didn't realize was that he had just crossed the wrong people. As a sharpshooter, Charlie made a signature move and took out Chihuahua with a single shot in the midst of the chaos. With that, they managed to rescue Slack, but their success came at a cost. They were captured by the security forces and thrown into prison. The reason for their arrest was simple. Chihuahua's boss was Kaufman, and Kaufman wouldn't tolerate anyone causing trouble in his profitable operations. Slack, once a soldier, had been reduced to a tool for Kaufman's profits, her striking appearance exploited for the sake of entertainment. At this moment, no one knew that the zombie leader had arrived at the outskirts of the safe zone, leading a horde of zombies. Under its command, the other zombies seemed to have evolved as well. One zombie, wielding a kitchen knife, easily hacked through the barrier walls. The zombie leader moved closer to inspect, but was startled by its own kind. It turned out that they had stumbled upon a human shooting range where zombies were used for target practice. This enraged the zombie leader. Meanwhile, Cholo, having made an enemy of Kaufman and forced to leave the safe zone, returned to the outskirts with some of his companions. As they approached the watchtower, a soldier stationed high up suddenly heard strange noises. When he grabbed the spotlight to investigate, the zombie leader appeared out of nowhere. The scream of the soldiers sent a wave of panic through everyone, and soon, the horde of zombies appeared at the fence. The zombies, working together, pushed through the fence despite the intense gunfire, and within moments, they overran the outpost. Soldiers were quickly overwhelmed and knocked to the ground. In that moment, instead of resisting, Cholo seized the chaos and quickly escaped in the armored vehicle. The zombie leader, witnessing this, unintentionally triggered the rifle in its hands and instantly realized what was happening. It immediately opened fire on the armored vehicle. Though it couldn't stop the vehicle, the zombie leader wouldn't stop there. Its ultimate goal was the people in the safe zone. As Cholo fled, he immediately called Kaufman, threatening to destroy the center building with the armored vehicle unless Kaufman handed over $5 million. Kaufman, obsessed with money, refused to back down. He ordered his men to release Riley from the prison cell and instructed him to capture Cholo and bring back the armored vehicle. Although Riley didn't want to take orders from Kaufman, he had no choice but to agree, knowing that the safety of the civilians in the safe zone was at stake. However, Kaufman clearly didn't trust Riley. He sent 3 soldiers along with him, ostensibly to help complete the mission, but in reality, they were there to keep an eye on Riley. Soon, the group made their way through a tunnel to the outpost that had just been attacked. As they were getting ready to leave in a vehicle, one of the soldiers was suddenly bitten by a zombie. After taking care of the zombie, they hurriedly set off. To prevent the soldier from turning, Slack shot him on the spot. The remaining members of the group pressed on toward the designated meeting point. Meanwhile, a large number of zombies had gathered by the river. If they could cross the river, they would be right at the safe zone. The zombie leader decisively jumped into the water. Following its lead, the other zombies quickly followed suit and swam across to the other side. It was something humans never could have expected. Zombies could swim, as the horde of zombies poured into the safe zone. The first to suffer were the people living outside the central building in the slums. Helpless survivors could only flee in panic, while soldiers fought back as best as they could, but ultimately, they couldn't escape death. With the time for the deal approaching, Cholo still hadn't seen the person with the money, so he prepared to launch the missile at any moment. At the critical moment, Riley finally arrived at the transaction point. Cholo, knowing that Riley was sent by Kaufman, wasted no time and immediately restrained both of them. At this moment, Cholo finally realized that Kaufman never intended to pay. Furious, he decided to launch the missile right away. Riley tried to reason with Cholo, urging him to stop his reckless actions, especially since there were many innocent survivors in the safe zone. But Cholo was determined to go through with it. However, when he pressed the button, the missile didn't launch. It turned out that Riley had used a remote control to disable the weapon system, and the armored vehicle was something Riley had designed himself. Naturally, he knew every inch of it. Enraged, Cholo grabbed Riley and started beating him, but Riley managed to kick him off the vehicle. With Charlie's help, Riley successfully took control of the armored vehicle. But when he turned to look at the city, he saw the safe zone engulfed in flames. A sense of dread washed over him as he realized the situation had gone terribly wrong. He quickly decided to head back to the safe zone to try and save as many people as he could. However, Cholo had no intention of going with them. Instead, he planned to take one of his men and head off to other places. But just as Riley and the others had left, Cholo was unexpectedly bitten by a zombie that appeared out of nowhere. Although he managed to kill the zombie, his fate was already sealed. Rather than turning into one of them, he decided it was better to seek revenge on Kaufman before his transformation was complete. After his man dropped him off at a watchtower, he left Cholo alone. Meanwhile, The zombies in the safe zone continued their rampage. After overrunning the slums, they picked up any tools they could find and made their way to the center building. There, they began hammering relentlessly at the tempered glass. In the blink of an eye, they broke through the last line of defense, and even the wealthy residents couldn't escape the zombie assault. Within moments, the center building became a hell on earth. Kaufman, who was trying to flee, had just reached the first floor when he was met with a horrifying sight. He opened fire on the zombie leader, emptying his entire magazine, but the bullets had no effect. Instead, he only succeeded in enraging the creature. As soon as the two of them arrived in the underground parking lot, ready to escape, the zombie leader caught up with them. The assistant, seeing the danger, immediately bolted, leaving Kaufman trapped in the car by himself. The zombie leader, unable to open the car door, picked up a nearby fuel pump and smashed the front windshield, pouring gasoline into the car. Then, it left the garage. Confused and frantic, Kaufman quickly got out of the car, grabbing 2 bags of money, ready to continue his escape. But just then, a zombie appeared behind him. Kaufman turned around and found himself face to face with the fully mutated Cholo. Zombie Cholo lunged at him without hesitation. Just when they were struggling together, the zombie leader came back, this time with a Molotov cocktail in hand. 1 human, 1 zombie, both perished in the fiery explosion. Under the relentless assault of the zombies, the few remaining survivors were already few and far between. They had hoped to escape the safe zone, but their path was blocked by an electrified fence. Even worse, a massive horde of zombies was quickly closing in. With nowhere to run, they could only stand and wait for their inevitable fate. At the critical moment, the sky suddenly lit up with bursts of fireworks. It was Riley and his group returning, but this time, the fireworks seemed to have no effect on the zombies. They paused for a brief moment before resuming their attack on the humans. When the armored vehicle reached the gate, they were met with a horrifying sight. Every last survivor had been turned into a zombie's feast. To end their suffering, Riley had no choice but to order the missile strike. After a massive explosion, they saw the zombie leader, followed by a horde, appearing in the distance. But despite the carnage, Riley, with his merciful heart, refrained from launching another attack. To him, the zombies weren't just mindless monsters. They were like humans, struggling to survive as well. In the end, Riley drove the armored vehicle, taking the few remaining survivors with him, as they set out on their desperate journey north, seeking refuge and a chance to survive.